UFC Vegas 116, Sterling Zalal is this weekend. Apex cards back to back. Actually, yesterday or last week was not an Apex card. It just felt like one. This week is another Apex card. Of course, next week is JD and Protest. But first off, we got to get through this week. So first off, I'm gonna go through the whole card, give my breakdown and thoughts, and my prediction for each and every fight. Let's start off with Tatalina Alencar versus Julia Polostari. Now, Talita Alencar, I thought I was going to go with her. She was a favorite, and now she is the dog. They're actually showing, of course they don't show odds on like main event, but a random random WMA fight starting the prelims of an Apex card, they got the odds on lock for that. Yeah, she was a dog, or she was a favorite. Now she's the dog. So I was going to go with Julia Polostari. A little bit better record. Actually, not a better record. 7 more wins, 4 more losses. Kind of a better record if you think of it that way. They're both coming off of wins. They're both 5-2, 5-1. The biggest thing is this reach advantage that I'm looking at. 5-inch reach advantage for Julia Polostari. Same leg reach. Talina Alencar's a little bit older. She's 35. Polostari is 28. So, and she still somehow has the what's it called? Shorter record, I guess. Coming off the Erin Karolosi win is Talita Alencar, while Julian Patari is coming off a KO over Karolina Kowalski. I'm gonna have to go. She lost to Lupita Godinez and Josephine Knutson, while as Talita Alencar's only losses to Stephanie. I'm an idiot. Stephanie Luciano. I'm gonna go with Julia Polostari. She is the favorite. She's got a long reach advantage. Now I will say Jamie Lynn Horth had a long reach advantage and she doesn't use it. Most WMA fighters don't use their reach advantage, but I'm hoping this time maybe Julia Polostari will use her reach advantage. They have around the same level of grappling. I hope she'll use that reach advantage, stay at range. 29-28 split decision win for Julia Polostari. Let's not fret on this too much. Moving up, Max Griffin, Victor Valenzuela. All right, Max Griffin, of course, coming off of his legendary win over. Oh, he lost to Chris Griffin. He lost to Chris Curtis. Split decision loss to Chris Curtis. Got subbed out by Michael Chiesa. I know that's prime 1 year ago, Michael Chiesa. He was only 40 a year ago. But got subbed out by Michael Chiesa. Lost the decision of Michael Morales somehow. While as Victor Valenzuela, Michael Oliveira KO'd him, 8-0. Decent prospect. Got KO'd in the first. Then he's knocked out Yusa Kinoshita at Professional Shoto Japan. Wow. He's got some decent wins, Max Griffin's just, if you lose to Chris Curtis, you're also 40. He's also 40. He's an old man. I'm going to have to go with Victor Valenzuela, 32, 8 years older, a little bit shorter, a little bit of a reach disadvantage, but I feel like Max Griffin, he's going to try and out-tit for tat Victor Valenzuela on the back foot. He's not really a guy who pushes. I think Victor Valenzuela is going to hit Max Griffin with something big. I don't know if we get a KO. I could see a KO. I could see him just fumbling a KO too. I think Victor Valenzuela could just fumble a KO and he'll hurt Max Griffin hard in the first or second, fumble it, and then the round after he knocked him down, he'll get it, and then maybe Max Griffin wins the last round or the second round or something like that. So I'm gonna go with Victor Valenzuela. You know what? Split decision with Chris Curtis. Chris Curtis is decent. Is this at welterweight? Yeah, this is at welterweight. He's coming off some KOs, but can he KO Max Griffin? You know what? I'm going to trust Victor Valenzuela. I'm going to trust him, Yeah, I think so. When does he get most of his KOs? I think round 2. Yeah, we'll go Victor Valenzuela round 2 KO. If you can't KO a 40-year-old, Unks have a hard time, or Unks usually have a great time. In the UFC, dude, if you're an Unk, it's smooth sailing. But I don't think Max Griffin can smooth sail through this one. So I'm gonna go with Victor Venezuela, round 2 KO. Something nasty like an overhand right or something. Max Griffin's kind of up, ramrod straight, and doesn't really move his head. I think Victor Venezuela can get that done in the second. All right, moving up. Francis Marshall, Lucas Brennan. Of course. Whoa, dude, that's kind of sick. It's like all black and bam, then he pops out. I saw a thing comparing him to like the old Tony Ferguson. He looks, when you do your pose like this, you look like a cartoon character. If I'm just being honest. If I'm being honest, man. Francis Marshall, of course, coming off that submission win over default skin number 3. Who was it? Eric Silva. Close split decision with Marion Santos. I think Marion Santos won that, but still, that's impressive, being that close to a decision with Marion Santos. Split decision over Dennis Bajuka. Not the best, but he doesn't have that kind of power that Marcos, whatever his name was, that knocked him out last week. He just doesn't have that power. The KO to Isaac Dolgarian is scary. Is very scary, but Francis Marshall's shown, submitted Eric Silva in round 1, just very technical, just got him down, subbed him out cold quick. It's just Lucas Brennan. I think this is short notice. He's 25, a little bit taller, 1 inch taller, same reach, no leg reach. He doesn't have legs. Luckily for Francis Marshall, he is really good. I think he's 11-2. I think most of his wins are by submission. I think he's like eight submissions, maybe 9. I apologize, dude. Whenever I watch low subscriber people, dude, they always sneeze. Is that a thing? I think that may be a common trend. If you have less than 100 subscribers, you will sneeze at least once in a video. That's just, I didn't make that rule. I just realized that that's the rule. I'm about to sneeze again. My goodness. But yeah, I just don't think Lucas Brennan has beat the best competition anyways. 6-5. 4-0. He lost to a guy who's 4-0, Mauricio Gomez. Dimitri Ivy, 12-7, 7-1. Whereas Francis Marshall, he's a little bit more proven. I trust him. I think he'll get a decision, actually. I think Lucas Brennan can keep up in the grappling wise, but I just think Francis Marshall's going to be too much everywhere. I think he's too well rounded for Lucas Brennan, who is kind of a one-trick wonder on the ground. I think Francis Marshall will be able to grapple him, and will be able to piece him up on the feet where it needs to be. Jabs, low kicks, just keeping it simple. Also, Lucas Brennan, is Francis Marshall moving up from featherweight? I think so. Man, this had to be short notice then, dude. Am I wrong? Let me real quick. What do I have to talk about? I feel like, because Marion Santos is a featherweight. I'm gonna have to figure this out. And I'm sorry that I'm gonna be kind of chit-chatting for a little bit. We're chit-chatters, no one's watching really anyways. But I just gotta know. So no. Oh, Jocelyn Edwards is coming in on short notice. That's good to know. Alright, Francis Marshall, let's look at this. Let's look at Francis Marshall's record. Weight. Yeah, he's fought at featherweight. Lightweight once against Dennis Bajuka. He's kind of been in-betweener. He's a bit of an in-betweener. Mainly fought at featherweight, but he's fought at lightweight a couple times. Nothing new for him. What about, what's his name? Lucas Victor. How many times is he? Lucas Brennan. Is he a true lightweight? Because if so, I may do Francis Marshall by finish. Yeah, he has 8 submissions in round 1. Two KOs and one decision. Wait. No, he's been at featherweight too. Oh, this is lightweight debut. Oh, he's been at catchweight though before. So they're around the same weight. Yeah, I'm just gonna keep it simple then. Not too much. This is a weird. Look, Francis Marshall. I hate when fighters. I don't know about y'all. I hate when fighters go in between weight classes. Like, just stay. I get moving up once, and then you kind of go like, all right, this is my new weight class and staying, but we're moving up and down, up and down, up and down. Let's just stay. We gotta play, Ring around the Rosie. Let's just stay in one's position. But yeah. I'm gonna go Francis Marshall. I'm gonna keep with the decision. I think it'll be a domination, 30-27. But I don't think he'll get the finish. I think Lucas Brennan will just kind of stay in there. Maybe get beat up a little bit. Moving up, Jafel Filho versus Cody Durden. Cody Durden, he has the legendary Brazilian 10 on his name before Jafel Filho. Crazy stuff. Plus, oh wait, dude, we're actually showing the odds. Oh my goodness. So I picked one favorite, two favorites, three favorites, minus 600 favorite. And I'm going to have to pick another favorite because I can't trust Cody Durden, dude. I can't trust Cody Durden. You know, somehow he beat Charles Jourdain. Somehow. Jafel Filho, you know, not the most impressive guy. He is coming off of a pretty nasty win streak, though. What is he? No, he's not. I just lied straight to your face. He lost to Alan Nascimento, but he submitted Clayton Carpenter. Decent, you know. Ode Osborne subbed him out. Osborne's hard to get a hold of. Daniel Perez submitted some triangle choke. He's only lost to Muhammad Makayev recently and Alan Nascimento, who Cody Durden's also lost to Alan Nascimento. He's been KO'd by Jose Ochoa, decision by Vane, and lost a decision to Nyan Jargal Tumdim Dimbarel. Okay, I said that all right. I just can't go with Cody Durden. I do like, he is a fun fighter, and I do respect him with the hustle. This is probably short notice knowing how Cody Durden fights, because if he just keeps on fighting, they can't cut him. It's kind of Cody Durden's pro strat, which honestly, I rate it. You know, if he's always taking short notice fights, yeah, he has a nasty record, 17-10-1. But, you know, if he's always fighting, dude, you can't really cut him because he's, like, saving up some matches. I do think Jafel Filho will get this done. Do I think he'll get a submission? I don't think so, actually. Maybe. You know, we'll go round 2 submission because Cody Durden hasn't looked the best recently. I think he's kind of slipped. This activity that he has where he just gets beat up. 4-fight losing streak, about to be 5 if he loses this one. I think Jafel Filho will get a submission in round 2. Maybe Cody Durden shoots a lazy takedown and Filho gets a guillotine. You know, flyweights get guillotines. They're short, so it's easy to lock them up and have them scrunched up. So I'm going to say guillotine submission for Jafel Filho in round 2. Round 2 submission for Jafel Filho. Moving up. Mayra Bueno Silva versus Michelle Montegao. Man, I mean, she is a sight for sore eyes, dude. Now, she recently has had a baby. Mayra Bueno Silva has had a baby recently, somehow. She's on basically a 5-fight losing streak because her last win against Holly Holm was overturned to a no contest, and I just gotta pick. I mean, first of all, New Zealand, Australian. I just trust their all favorites so far. I mean, it just makes sense. Michelle Montegao, you know, I just trust that their system for MMA is just so well. It's so done well, especially, you know, they don't have. I feel like they just have a lot of prospects. Australia and New Zealand. They just know how to get them out of the gates and get them their first couple wins in the UFC, besides like Colby Thickness. But we don't talk about him. But I do think Michelle Montagu will get this done by decision. A little bit taller, 2-inch reach advantage, you know, leg reach advantage. It's just Mayra Brenna Silva. She's 40. No, she isn't. I think these are both old. 34 to 32, dude. Not even that big of an age gap. Montegao doesn't even actually train in Australia. She trains at American ATG, American Top Team. So maybe she doesn't have that Australia-New Zealand power. But I think she'll still win. Just piecing up Mayra Brenna Silva on the feet. I do think Mayra Brenna Silva does have an underrated chance, dude. She could just be a man compared to Michelle Montagu and just be a man. You know what I'm saying? Can she be a man? Who has Mayra Brenna Silva lost to? Jacqueline Cavalcanti, not that bad. Jasmine Judovicius, Macy Chasson, Raquel Pennington, lost to Pennington. I'm going to have to choose Michelle Montegao, but honestly, Mayra Brenna Silva's kind of a good underdog. Plus 320 where she's a man and Michelle Montegao isn't, and she just had a child and she's a lesbian. So she's going to hit with some conviction, dude. Mayweather Bruno Silva's gonna hit with some convictions. He's got a new daughter with a lesbian wife. She's gonna hit different. So maybe Michelle Montague's not ready for that. Do I pick Mayweather Bruno Silva? It's an Apex card. Who cares? I'm gonna pick Mayweather Bruno Silva by decision. Actually, let's have fun, dude. Why does everything? Not everything has to be so serious. And I'm gonna choose Mayweather Bruno Silva to win an MMA fight. Her last one was a year, not even 2 years ago, probably 3 years ago was Mayweather Bruno Silva's last win. But I think she can maybe just outman Michelle Montague, just be stronger on the feet, land the heavier shots, maybe even hold up Michelle Montague against the cage, some crafty stuff like that. I think she'll get the win, decision win for Mayweather Bruno Silva. She's a man. Moving up, Jackson McVeigh, Cedric Dumas. McVeigh, obviously a minus 200 underdog. Dumas, plus 165. Sorry, McVeigh, a minus 200 favorite. Dumas, a plus 165 underdog. Do I pick Cedric Dumas? Because Jackson McVeigh hasn't really impressed me. He got submitted by Zachary Reese. And Zachary Reese sucks. But Cedric Dumas also sucks. He lost to Dante Johnson. Last win was against Denis Tullian by decision. Jackson McVeigh, submitted by Zachary Reese, and Bruno Ferreira. But he's got some submissions in this game. 6-2 against 10-4 and 1 no contest. McVeigh is 27. Dumas is 30. Same, a little bit taller. Dumas has a reach advantage. Do I go with just leg reach advantage for McVeigh, though? I've already picked my crazy underdog. I kind of have to go with Jackson McVeigh by decision. He could get a submission win. I just haven't been too impressed. He was looking decent, if I remember correctly, average. He's looking like kind of something against Bruno Ferreira, and then Bruno Ferreira subbed him. I'm going to choose Jackson McVeigh by decision, but again, I think Cedric Dumas has underrated potential value on that. I just went with Mayweather Bruno Silva, so I can't go back-to-back crazy picks. I got to go Jackson McVeigh. I know I said this is a fight night, we're going to have fun, but it's more fun to choose a very crazy WMA fight than it is to choose, Cedric Dumas, who, should be in prison. So I don't know. I just don't know how much he's training. He's broke. Been in prison, a lot of trouble with the law. I don't know how much he's been able to train recently, Moving up, Rodolfo Vieira, Eric McConaughey. Dude. Picking McConaughey. I don't know. I don't like it. I don't like why I'm picking McConaughey. But the Bison Susukayev, he was kind of piecing up Bison Susukayev, and then Bison Susukayev, of course, KOs him in the third. But it was like 1-1 going into the third against Bison Susukayev. Eric McConaughey, wins a split decision over Cody Brundage. That's a decent win, KO'd by Nursulin Ruzaboyev. Drumhead Chalare gets a win. He's 35, though. But Rodolfo Vieira, Bo Nickel head kick KO. Trayshawn Gore wins actually pretty decent somehow. Andre Petroski lost, though. Petrosian submission, though. Cody Brundage submission. They both beat Cody Bumditch, but Vieira did it. But, McConaughey's got a 4-inch reach advantage, leg reach advantage, same height. Dude, I'm going with Aaron McConaughey. I gotta. I just don't think Rodolfo Vieira is too much of a threat. I don't see him being a crazy takedown threat. Eric McConaughey, very close fight with, he was kind of he was tit for tat, and he was staying, trading blows with Bison Susukayev. And, maybe you just say Bison Susukayev is more of a grappler and he just wants a strike. Even then, Eric McConaughey was still keeping it competitive. I'm going to go with him. Rodolfo Vieira, I just don't know if I can trust this jiu-jitsu guy who got KO'd by Bo Nickel, coming off that nasty head kick KO from Bo Nickel. And it is Bo Nickel, but KO'd by Bo Nickel, I know Bo Nickel had that kind of call to Jesus where maybe he just fully changed his outlook on MMA, and now he's back. He's back and better than ever. And he'll flatline he'll flatline Caldicaucus at the White House card too. You better not mess with Bo Nickel. But for now, I'm going to have to choose Eric McConaughey. I've liked what I've seen from him compared to Rodolfo Vieira. Moving up to the main kid, Marcus Buchecha, Ryan Spann. I'm going with Ryan Superman Spann somehow. Marcus Buchecha coming off that draw with Kennedy Nzechukwu, the legendary Kennedy Nzechukwu, who of course knocked out Carlos Holberg. Went to a draw with him. I forgot how. I think he got 10-8 in the third. Or something. Or no, Nzechukwu. There was like a point taken away. I forgot. Anyways, he just gasses out so easy. Basically lost to Kennedy Nzechukwu. Also lost to Martin Bidet. Again, losing to Umar Kane, who's 5-1. I think Ryan Spann, who's been there, has some grappling of his own, was a light heavyweight. Ryan Spann used to be a light heavyweight. He did lose to Anthony Smith twice at light heavyweight, which is very concerning. But, recently at heavyweight, he's only lost to Waldo Cortez Acosta. Not that bad of a loss. Bogdan Guskov KO'd him at light heavyweight, and then he moved up. Oven St. Peru, he submitted him at also light heavyweight, but his heavyweight debut, he got KO'd by Waldo Cortez Acosta. Lucas Bresky submitted him. I think Ryan Spann's just going to pop that jab. Marcus Buchecha doesn't have really any way to get it to the ground. Like, whoa, that's crafty. Whoa, that was slick how he got that. How he got it to the ground. Like, he's kind of like I'm going to go for this double leg, and if I don't get it, I'm going to gas out. I'm going to be tired. I think Ryan Spann can stuff a couple double legs and be fine against a Marcus Buchecha, who is no threat on the feet. Reach advantage, leg reach advantage, has that light heavyweight skill somewhat in him still, a little bit taller. I think Ryan Superman Spann can get it done by decision. He is the underdog on paper, but everyone on Tapology is picking him. McConaughey's the underdog. I couldn't do 4 underdogs in a row. Moving up, Montel Jackson, Raoni Barcelos. I went with Montel Jackson by KO. Raoni Barcelos, people are forgetting that he is 40 years old. Now, I know he beat the legendary Peyton Talbot. Good win for him. Good win. Caught Peyton Talbot when he just didn't really try to grapple, and he got the win. Smudged him, got the win. But, 4-5 win streak. Kristen Quiones submits him. Decision over Cody Garbrandt. Decision over Ricky Simone. The Ricky Simone win. While it does look good, sometimes he did just basically get knocked out in her last fight, almost given a mercy draw. Montel Jackson, the Davis-Figueiredo split decision, it wasn't Brazil. He should have won that, but still, you're leaving it close to Davis and Figueiredo. But I don't think Raoni Barcelos has anything on the feet where Montel Jackson may have been scared on the feet for Figueiredo because Figueiredo does have kind of power. I don't think Barcelos has any. He does have hands, though. Barcelos does have hands. That has to be said. But I do think Montel Jackson's going to be too quick for Barcelos, who's just an old man. How old is he? How old is Barcelos? 38. Montel Jackson's 34. I think he'll just be too quick. Have too much of a reach advantage. What is that? 8.5 reach advantage for Montel Jackson. 2-inch leg reach advantage for him. He's just going to be too quick and too long for Raoni Barcelos. I think he'll knock him out in the first. Round 1 KO for Montel Jackson. Like a 1-2 down the pipe. Will probably put out Raoni Barcelos. Moving up. Davey Grant versus Adrian Luna Martinetti. I'm probably going to go with Davey Grant. He's the favorite. Adrian Luna Martinetti has lost to some pretty bad competition outside of the UFC. I don't know why they signed him. He is 17-1, but look at the records he's beat. So his last one was 12-3-1. Mark Volodin, who got that split decision draw, or that draw with the Sexy Mexi. Not the best look. Jesus Flores KO, who that was his debut. Jesus Flores was debuting against what was that? 16-1, I want to say. Luna Martinetti. He just was doing his debut and got KO'd. 8-3, 13-10-1, 12-4. Now David Grant got KO'd and then submitted by Charles Jourdain, flying knee into that submission. But the Damon Blackshear, Raymond Tavares, Rafael Asuncao, David Grant's still there. Now he is 40. He is a whole 10 years older. But I don't think Adrian Luna Martinetti has enough to really has enough grit and will and and kind of power to really put anything on David Grant that he hasn't seen before. I think David Grant's still in there. He's still around. He's still making money. Same height, same reach, basically, same leg reach. I think David Grant gets this done by decision, just out peppering him, just going to different levels when Adrian Luna Mariette's not used to the kind of different levels that David Grant can go to. I think he'll shoot in a couple takedowns. 17-8 is not the best looking record, but he's been in the UFC for a while. I think David Grant's going to get this done. He could even KO. He almost KO'd Damian Blackshear in the second or third. I think he could hurt Adrian Luna Mariette on the feet, but I will say a David Grant 29-28 decision. He'll probably win like 1 and 2, maybe lose the third, or maybe he'll lose the first. He'll probably lose the first and win the second and third. David Grant decision, dude. Moving up, Rafa Garcia, Alexander Hernandez. Hernandez is the favorite. Rafa Garcia, he is coming off of a Jared Gordon KO, but I want to let you know that before the KO, it was a very close fight. Could have gone either way. The third round was kind of like what would have been that swing round for who won. Before, of course, Rafa Garcia put away Jared Gordon. But Jared Gordon got hit by a car the day before that fight happened. Got hit by a car. That's not me joking. We play around sometimes. That's me being dead serious. Jared Gordon got hit by a car before that fight, and it was a close decision. I think Alexander Hernandez, who's going to be on the back foot, not going to let Rafa Garcia get really what he wants. Really let him get what he wants. I think he'll, the KO over, what's his name? Chase Hooper's not the best. But, Diego Ferreira, decent KO. Kurt Hollabar decision. Austin Hubbard split decision. Not the best, but Rafa Garcia lost to Grant Dawson, KO'd. I know it was ground and pound and it's kind of a different way to win, but still, Grant Dawson. Beat Clay Guida, Machete, Vince Pichel. I think Alexander Hernandez is just going to be too much on the back foot, not let Rafa Garcia really gets what he wants, and then when he does lure Rafa Garcia into his 1-2, he'll either knock Rafa Garcia down and win that round and then just eke out a decision, or he'll put him away. Rafa Garcia maybe has a bit of a better chance. He was getting jabbed up by Jared Gordon. I think you know what? Round 2 KO for Alexander Hernandez, Alexander Hernandez. Lock it in. Round 2 KO. Moving up. Co-main event. Norma Dumont, Jocelyn Edwards. Now, Jocelyn Edwards is coming in on short notice from the look of it. And she is coming off of that submission win over whatever her name was. Nora Knoll. But people forget, dude. Round 2, she got the slam knockout into submission, which is what it was. But round 1, dude, Nora Knoll was kind of outworking Jocelyn Edwards in the clinch, kind of bullying her up against the fence. And I do think the UFC wants Norma Dumont at the top. Because they kind of just gifted her a decision win, which, not like a crazy robbery, but it was a robbery. Norma Dumont should have lost. And now that is a bad look if you're saying she just lost her last fight. You think she's going to win this next fight? Against Jocelyn Edwards, who's, a little bit thinner, is taller, has that reach advantage, but I do think Norma Dumont's got that heft on her. She's smaller, so she's going to be a little bit heavier. In terms of grappling, I think she'll be able to get this done by just being boring and holding Jocelyn Edwards against the cage. I think Nora Knoll showed that in their last fight where that's possible. I think she'll hold her against the cage, maybe even outstrike her. Norma Dumont does have some hands. Jocelyn Edwards got that reach, got that length, has some nasty KOs, but Norma Dumont, I think she can get this done. She hasn't lost him forever. 13-2. Her last loss was a couple years ago, I feel like. She's on a 5 or 6 fight win streak. I think she'll get this done by a boring decision, I think she'll get this done. The cake rises to the top, dude. That's just how WMA works. You either are super talented like a Zhang Wei Li, Shevchenko, or you're a man like Amanda Nunes and Kayla Harrison, or you have cake and they raise you to the top, dude. If you got cake, there's a party at the top of the division, and Norma Dumont's got the cake. She's got the cake for the party, all right? So we'll see Norma Dumont for a title shot soon. Moving up, main event. Aljamain Sterling, Yusuf Zalal. Aljamain Sterling 25-5, Zalal 18-5-1, 5'7" to 5'10". Says Sterling was at lightweight, I guess for that catchweight fight with Brian Ortega. Is I guess what that weight is. Same reach, same leg reach. Yusuf Zalal obviously being the younger fighter who is 29 compared to Sterling's 38. But I am going to go with Aljamain Sterling by decision. Zalal just that Calvin Cater decision just it does not look good in my opinion. Calvin Cater, of course, subbed out Emmett quick, like a minute in he subbed out Josh Emmett. Calvin Cater decision kind of boring, didn't really do much. The Jack Shore submission is pretty good, and the Jarno Aarons submission decent. The Billy Quarantillo, it's just Calvin Cater is kind of giving Yusuf Zalal some trouble where, Zalal's kind of on the back foot a lot, not really letting anything land. I think Aljamain Sterling, who doesn't have the best striking, but you saw it against Ortega, he outstruck him, and it was Ortega not the best look. And there was moments in round 5 where you're like, man, Sterling's slowing down and Ortega's walking him down. But that's because Sterling did kind of just put a whooping on Ortega, and Ortega just survived it. And then, was kind of like zombie walking towards Sterling. Sterling did that spinning elbow, or like it blew up his right arm. I guess because he just bruised it really badly. But I think Sterling's just gonna win. Been in championship levels, has 5-round experience. He's beaten Peter Yan, dude. He's beaten Peter Yan, and I know that second fight. I'm not saying he beat him in the first fight. The second fight, that was highly contested, very close split decision. But that's still him getting a split decision over Peter Yan, getting a decision over Cejudo, over Dillashaw. He lost to O'Malley. I don't think Yusuf Zalal is this type of sniper to beat an Aljamain Sterling. And then at featherweight, he's only lost to Movsar Evloev. Does Yusuf Zalal have this kind of intense, heavy grappling focus where he can really out-scramble and work Sterling by being stronger and winning scrambles and doing busy work on the ground? I don't think so. I think Zalal is kind of a submission, kind of like, I'm going to scramble for the submission. I think Sterling will out-scramble him. He's shorter. He's a little bit quicker, I feel like, on the ground. He's buff, too. I think he's going to be stronger than Zalal in certain positions. I think after that Movsar Evloev fight, maybe Sterling will know to start doing more busy work on the ground to make it, rack up your numbers on the ground so that when it comes to a close decision, you'll get that decision because you've been doing busy little pitter-patter punches on the ground. So yeah, I'm going to go with Aljamain Sterling by decision to win. I just don't rate Yusuf Zalal that much. I know he almost KO'd Ilya in the third. Really, dude? Dude, he submitted Josh Emmett in 1 round. Really, dude? He beat Calvin Cater for 3 rounds and had a kind of almost lost. I think he lost a round. Maybe not. But he was close to losing a round. 1 round was pretty close against Calvin Cater. Who Sterling demolished, Sterling absolutely demolished Cater. So I'm going to go with Sterling. Just better on the feet, better on the ground. Zalal may have better submission attempts, and he may be a little bit better at getting to certain positions than Sterling. But I think Sterling, I just haven't really seen anything where I'm like, man, this Zalal kid. This Zalal kid's a threat. I haven't seen anything that makes me think that. So I'm going to go with a guy who's a proven champion, who's proven to be a top-level guy, in Aljamain Sterling, by decision. So yeah, that's my picks for UFC 3, for UFC Vegas 116. I will be doing a fight companion. I have work off Saturday, so I'll be there early, actually. Again, this will be in honor of MMA Guru. He is still gone, but don't worry. Me and you were together in this. So yeah, don't be funny. Make some money. Buy the numbers. Peace out, pal.